So you cannot cut costs to a profitable lawn care business. I've said that, and a lot of times we have a tendency to just not want to spend any money and think that that is the way to have a profitable lawn care business, by never spending money and just constantly beating down our costs. That's not the way to do it. But that being said, there really is value in taking a good hard look at your cost at least once a year. As the months tick by every year, your insurance companies, they go up, your overhead goes up, suppliers go up, everybody goes up. And it is really prudent to sit down and look at least once a year and say, hey, can we do better in this area of our business? It directly impacts your bottom line. Every dollar saved is direct result in extra profit for you. So I want to share with you the areas that I look in my business. I kind of just take a peek at these at least once annually, and it's something that I monitor very, very closely. Number one is insurance costs. Insurance companies, they just have a way of getting you on board with a good rate, and then they will just start up, and eventually what they're hoping will happen. Again, I worked insurance for 2 years. What insurance companies are hoping you do is just stop looking, stop caring. I've already got the insurance. They've been fine. I'm just going to keep it. Look, there's always an introductory rate to kind of get you going, and then they just bring it up every single year, and it really is prudent to get a quote about once a year if your insurance is going up. There's a lot of really good options out there, but my advice to you would be to do business with somebody local in your area. I know there's a lot of online options, and I'm probably going to catch some flack for this, but the truth is I like being able to call up my insurance agent who's right down the road and say, hey, I got this going on and we got to get it fixed, and I want to add this coverage and I want to get it fixed. And I can go down there and walk into their office and have a face-to-face conversation with them. And for me, that really, really means a lot. So I am willing to spend a little bit more on our insurance for that little feather in their cap. But insurance is one thing you really need to look at every year. It doesn't matter just business, personal, autos, all the things. Take a good look at your insurance every year, and it's very prudent to quote every year. Number two is your CRM. You know, whatever you're using to run your company for invoicing and scheduling. I know that there's a lot of companies who need all the bells and whistles, and they need hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of features a month. But I'll tell you, I've seen in Turf Pros Academy, there have been a lot of guys who have signed up for very expensive CRMs, or CRMs that nickel and dime you every step of the way for every extra added feature. And you know, they're spending $300, $400, $500 a month on their CRM, and it's like, why? Like there's other options out there. And you guys know that I use Yardbook, and I've been very, very happy with them. And they've ran my business. They're a much cheaper alternative. We use the advanced features in Yardbook, but not all of them. But again, I'm not saying that's for everybody, but I've noticed from dealing with people and coaching people in Turf Pros Academy that, you know, a lot of folks, they're really paying for features in these CRMs that, like, they're either not taking advantage of, or they're just not ready for yet. So if you're spending a lot of money on your CRM, man, I mean, you could very easily save a couple $1,000s a year by getting to a CRM that's more affordable and that's more appropriate for where you are currently in your business. The next thing is suppliers, and you're always going to be limited by the suppliers in your area, of course. But if you've got a few suppliers, it is really worth checking prices for material. So if you are doing mulch jobs, sod jobs, anything that, you know, plants or whatever, for us, our big thing is right now is sod. And, you know, if, for example, we were getting some grass from a company that, you know, their standard centipede was, all in, you're about $136 per pallet of it. Now, I can get that same centipede, same quality from another supplier for $100 a pallet. That is a 36% savings on our materials cost. That is a big deal. And while I had a good working relationship with the folks with the $136 a pallet, like, look, at the end of the day, man, like we're in this to make money. And if I have a supplier that is offering material that is 36% cheaper and they're easy to work with, and I mean, you know, if we're just comparing apples to apples, like my business is going to the place that I get a substantially better rate at. And I think we're all that way. You know, we always want to get the best price, but a lot of times we have a tendency to just kind of get ourselves locked into a rhythm, to a pattern of working with something, and then just not checking. It is prudent. It is prudent to check on prices at least once a year. Just check your prices and see, because those prices change, man. If you're able to get a substantial savings on your materials cost, that is a direct translation to more profit in your pocket at the end of the week. Next, and I am going to do a full video on this later this week. You'll really appreciate that video. But it's, in essence, it's poor performing assets, okay? We need to take a good look at our assets that are not pulling their weight. You know, and for an example, it could be like an aerator that sits around for, you know, 10 or 11 months out of the year that you're making a payment on, or maybe it's a fertilization piece of equipment that you're just not really doing the amount of fertilization that you need to do. It could be anything. I'm just making up random examples here, but if you look out in your, you know, garage, if you're a solo operator or your shop or whatever, and there is equipment that is just sitting around, that is very, very expensive, even if it's paid off. Like, you have money that is just sitting there depreciating, okay? Like, it is literally going down in value. And that is a very, very expensive thing to do, is holding on to these dead weight assets, things that are not pulling their weight. And again, I look at that every year in my business, and we always run lean, but it's just a reminder to everybody to keep a close eye on your assets and be very conservative whenever you're looking at purchasing things for your business and equipment. Your assets, they have to pull their weight. And again, I'm going to do a full video on where I've actually invested my money, like into my company, like into assets in particular, that have had the biggest ROI. That's going to be coming out Thursday. Y'all stay tuned for that one. But take a good hard look at your assets and make sure every one of those are pulling their weight. Next, and this is all encompassing, so I'm not going to list every single thing that you could be doing, but non-billable time in general. You have got to get that cost out of your business. The load and unload time every single day, that the gas trip breaks, the poop breaks, the drink breaks, you know, extended lunches, driving all around town because your routes are not optimized, just all that stuff, man. Like, even if you're a solo guy and you're not having to pay employees, even if you are solo, that still directly affects the amount of lawns you can do in a day, and affects your profit margin. And non-billable time includes office work, like all the invoicing, all that stuff. Like, you're not billing for that, but it still has to be done. Anything you can do to speed that up or slash that cost, like, you've got to do it, again, because it directly affects your bottom line. Getting out the non-billable time from your business, it allows room for what? Billable time. Yes, if you get rid of non-billable time, then it makes available billable time. And I know that sounds completely ridiculously, stupidly simple, but I'm shocked at the people that don't understand that. It's like, well, my day's full. It's because you're driving around all day, dude. Like, because you're going to the gas station and spending an hour and a half at the gas station, like, multiple times a day. Like, yeah, you're out of bandwidth because you have too much non-billable time in your day. Like, you're not efficient with your invoicing, dude. You're picking up checks from people. Like, what are we doing? Like, it's 2024. Let's go.